How's everyone doing? In this video, we're going to look at your 8 C notes, turning points of Islam. So we're going to be able to identify some major historical turning points when we are done with this presentation that you have to know with regards to the eventual spread of Islam and what becomes a Muslim empire. Alright, so for starters, following Muhammad's death, we are going to have a series of what are known as caliphs, or successors, that are going to control what is slowly becoming a Muslim empire. So upon Muhammad's death, we have these rulers, these leaders, these caliphs, which are going to succeed him. The first 4 caliphs they have this term known as rightly guided. Okay, these guys had personally known Muhammad during his life, or they were direct blood relatives of him. So the first 4 were rightly guided. They were related to or knew Muhammad directly. Now, all is well and good. And under those first 4 caliphs, they're going to conquer most of Southwest Asia and parts of North Africa. As we've said before, Jews and Christians are going to be tolerated, and they're going to hold roles in government. And eventually, many conquered people are actually going to convert. So Southwest Asia, we're talking most of the Arabian Peninsula, the Fertile Crescent, even up into portions of Anatolia, North Africa, specifically Egypt. Eventually it'll spread across all of North Africa, but this is the early years. So this is within the first 40, 50 years after Muhammad's death. Alright, so that's the beginning there. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is following the death of Ali, who is the 4th and final rightly guided caliph, what becomes known as the Umayyad dynasty is going to seize power of this Muslim empire. They're going to seize the caliphate, name themselves rulers, and this becomes a problem because some won't accept their rule because they are not, quote-unquote, rightly guided. Alright, so we said Ali is the last one who is either a blood relative or a friend of Muhammad's, and the Umayyads are not blood relatives. So some people are actually not going to accept the rule of the Umayyad dynasty. They believe that the caliph should be a descendant of Muhammad. These people are going to become what is known as Shiites, or Shia. And then those who do accept the Umayyad caliphate become known as Sunnis. So here we are within 50 years of the death of Muhammad. We've already had a division within the Muslim Empire. We've divided into 2 sects, which are even now to this day still relatively violent and warring. You have different countries throughout the Middle East which are either Sunni or Shia. So some basic differences here. Sunni believe that the first 4 caliphs were rightly guided. Shia believes that Ali, the Prophet's son-in-law, should have succeeded Muhammad, so on and so forth. And that's just a basic showdown. Majority of the world is Sunni right now, and there is a chunk that's Shia. But the big thing to remember here is that the division initially occurs over who should succeed and whether the Umayyads should have power or not. And then obviously this fun part here, this last box, where both claim that the other one has distorted various passages of the Quran. That's always a good thing. Sunni Shia can kind of be a little bit bloody these days too, by the way. Oops, skipped too far. Alright, so now we've got the division, and under the Umayyads, the empire is going to continue to grow to include North Africa. They're going to conquer all of North Africa, spread up the Iberian Peninsula, which is present-day Spain, and then Central Asia, which we've said before is the Stands, right? The Stands. Alright, so that's under Umayyad rule. Now, further expansion is going to be stopped at the Battle of Tours by the Franks. This is a major turning point in Western history. Alright, it's the year 732 CE. This is probably the second, maybe third, we'll call it, date that you have to know this year. You have to know the date Caesar died. You probably should know the official fall of the Western Roman Empire. You have to know the year of the Battle of Tours. It's a major turning point in Western history. The Franks, remember, Europe is shattered. There's no Western Roman Empire. There's no major power throughout Europe at this period of time. There's no empire at all. So it's entirely possible that if the Franks are not successful in stopping the Umayyads and stopping Muslim expansion that the Muslims will eventually overrun all of Europe. And then you guys, we could be looking at a world where Christianity is like Judaism. It's a tiny little religion and the vast majority of the world becomes Muslim. Well, that didn't happen. The Franks win the Battle of Tours, they turn back the Muslim armies, and they're able to preserve Europe's Christianity. Now, to unify their empire, the Umayyads are actually going to develop a large bureaucracy. They're going to create a common currency, and they're going to make Arabic the official language. So again, themes from one empire to the next. We have a large bureaucracy. We have a large government that's far-reaching, reaches a lot of people. We have common currency to help speed up trade. All right, these themes are repeating themselves. The Romans had similar things. The Persians had similar themes to their success. So all of these things are starting to happen, and this is the height of Umayyad territory here. Alright, as you can see, all of the Arabian Peninsula. This is spread into Central Asia. Alright, as you can see, they've spread the Arabian Peninsula, Central Asia, all of North Africa, including portions of the Sahara Desert, and then, as we said, across from Tangier up into the Iberian Peninsula. They get stopped at the Battle of Tours up here in central present-day France. Moving on. Now we're going to talk about the Abbasids. Around the year 750 CE, the Umayyad Caliphate is going to come to an end. Their little dynasty is ends, and they're going to be replaced by the Abbasid Caliphate. The Abbasids are going to build a large standing army to promote control of the empire. So they're not just going to use the bureaucracy, they're going to keep a large army to maintain their borders. They're going to promote a policy of inclusion that all Muslims, whether they are ethnic Arabs or not, are equal, and they actually encourage Jews and Christians to serve in government. Alright, and the reason I'm pointing out Arab or not, Arab's an ethnic group. Okay, they're people that originate from the Arabian Peninsula. Okay, so they are saying all Muslims are equal, whether they are European Muslims, whether they are Arab Muslims, whether they are African Muslims, wherever they are from, they're all equal. And like I said, that's pretty cool. They let Christians and Jews serve in the government. I mean, they don't force them to convert or anything. Alright? And the Abbasid Caliphate's actually going to downsize a little bit. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and this is around the year 800. But it's primarily, and this is primarily where we're going to see Muslim power for an extended period of time here. Okay, as we said, Central Asia, the Arabian Peninsula, North Africa. There will be portions of time when it expands up into here, and there will be portions of time when it doesn't. Now, the other thing the Abbasids are going to do is they're going to move the capital. And the Abbasids are going to move the capital from Damascus, which is near Jerusalem, to the city of Baghdad, which is going to eventually become the center of the Arab world. And this is a painting of the city of Baghdad. And the Abbasid Caliphate is going to continue for 500 years until the year 1258, when the Mongols will actually invade the city of Baghdad. As you can see, the city of Baghdad was a walled city with a moat and only 4 gates to get in, easy to defend, big palace in the center. And like I said, Baghdad is going to become the center of the Arab world, where the majority of our Arab contributions will come from. And that's going to be it.